Hey, it's the Preacher, and today I'm going to show you how I make my custom barbecue sauce. And I call it custom and not homemade because it's not homemade. I'm starting with a store-bought sauce, but I'm going to add to that some custom ingredients and then make it my own unique sauce. Look guys, I've stood there over the stove and stirred molasses and Worcestershire sauce and ketchup and all these other secret ingredients together to make my own barbecue sauce. This right here, I like it better. It's easier and it costs less than $2. I've been using this same sauce for probably 4 or 5 years now. I've tried some different variations, but I keep coming back to this one. I start off with original Kraft barbecue sauce. Now why Kraft? A couple of reasons. Number one, it's a national brand. Kraft, you can get this in any store. If I'm in any part of the country, I can make barbecue sauce by just bringing a few custom ingredients with me. I take the Kraft barbecue sauce, and I'm using the original. You could use any. I think there's 4 or 5 different flavors of Kraft barbecue sauce. But I'm using Kraft for a couple of reasons. It's nationwide. You can find it in any store. But really, I'm using it because it's cheap and it has a pretty good base taste. I mean, look, I wouldn't just put Kraft barbecue sauce on something I spent 12 hours smoking. But if you doctor it up and get it to taste right, this good base will yield you a great sauce. It's normally like $1.99 in my area, but I have found that every time there's a grilling holiday, like let's say Memorial Day, Labor Day, 4th of July, they run this barbecue sauce on sale for $1 a bottle. Sometimes $1.19, but usually around $1 a bottle. Alright, I've got most of it in there. I've got a trick for getting the rest out. So there, I'm putting this in just a squeeze bottle. You could put it in a mason jar, but you want something relatively small that you can shake it up and ensure you get a good mix. The key thing here, this is a very sweet sauce, too sweet for me. It's pretty kind of blah, really. So to that, I'm going to add 1/8 of a cup of apple cider vinegar. That's just a little too much. Now, apple cider vinegar is like gunpowder. A little dab will do you. All right, I'm going to try to pour this directly into the jar. By adding that 1/8 of a cup into this jar, I'm going to thin down what little bit of sauce is left in there. And that'll help me get it out of the jar. Now, 1/8 of a cup of apple cider vinegar. That's going to give us the tang that we need and break some of this sweetness that's normally found in a just regular old original Kraft barbecue sauce. Now, let's talk about seasoning. You're going to need some form of pepper in here. This is a very blah sauce if you just start out like that. So I'm going to add dried cayenne pepper. And this is cayenne pepper that I've grown in my own garden and dehydrated and ground up. And I'm adding 1/2 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. This is a pound of barbecue sauce, an 1/8 of a cup of apple cider vinegar. You're not making hot barbecue sauce with this. You're just giving it some pepper flavor. This is probably the best ingredient you can add. This here is chipotle pepper powder. This is jalapeno peppers that I smoked, dehydrated, and then ground. I'm going to add 1/2 of a teaspoon of chipotle pepper powder. Now, if you don't smoke and grow your own, most people say grow and smoke your own. But if you don't make your own chipotle powder, you can buy that in the store. And that's going to give your sauce a smoky taste because that smoky flavor is in those peppers. Now, if you want to make hot, if you just want a good middle-of-the-road sauce, not too hot, a little bit of, I wouldn't say heat, just a little bit of flavor, stop right here. But I want to make it hot. And so these are Tabasco. You notice the XXX? You're saying Tabasco sauce ain't hot. That's right, because 1 Tabasco pepper makes about 3 jars of sauce. If you take that pepper and dehydrate it, you concentrate that Tabasco pepper, then you grind it up into a real fine powder. This half a teaspoon will turn this from a mild sauce to a hot sauce. If you bought this on sale like I did for $1, at most you might have $1.50 in here. So I put my finger over the end, and now we're just going to start shaking. I shook that for probably a minute, and I'm looking at the jar, and I'm trying to make sure I see about as many spices at the bottom as I'm seeing at the top, and it looks like it's pretty well evenly distributed. You want a little air in your jar, so like don't put this in a pint jar, put it in a quart jar, and that air space is what's going to help you get this good and mixed up. Alright, let's see what we did. Let's have a little taste test. Man, that's good. That's also hot. This right here will make a 16-ounce jar of barbecue sauce hot. Half a teaspoon's all you need. Plus we've got a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper in there with it. If you just did the cayenne, it's a good middle-of-the-road sauce. Nobody would call it hot. Everybody would say it had a good flavor. The smoke taste that you pick up in this comes from the chipotle. So that's how I make a quick, cheap, easy, custom barbecue sauce. My recommendation, make this up a day ahead of time if you want barbecue tomorrow. Whip this up tonight, put it in the fridge. You might put a red marker on it and mark it for hot so that somebody doesn't accidentally light up their world. Anyways, thanks for watching.